Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Miss Mookie. This is a part on my YouTube channel where I like to basically give advice for glowing up, self-care, everything of that nature, for just making yourself a better person and just loving yourself entirely. So I like to provide advice on things that I've experienced, just to shed some light on some things that some people might need help with. But I just want to start off by saying that it is Ramadan, so happy Ramadan Mubarak for everybody that celebrates it and participates in it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So today's video is going to be types of guys that you need to avoid when dating. So I recently got back onto dating apps. I use a lot of discernment when getting on dating apps, because I just feel like there is a certain type of guy there's certain types of guys that I try to avoid that get on dating apps, and it's very cringy to me to have to deal with this, but I have to use discernment because not everybody's the same. So also, once I've learned to, what type of guys to avoid, I've had a lot of success on these dating apps that I'm currently on. And I'm on Luxy, Hinge. I started a profile on Bumble, but I haven't gotten on there yet. But I've had a lot of success since I've learned the type of guys that I need to avoid. So I came on YouTube. I'm coming on YouTube to share with you guys this knowledge that I got. So I read the book, Never Get Ghosted Again. I forgot the author's name, but I will put it right here. So in this book, he gives advice on what to do, what not to do when you are dating and pursuing a romantic relationship with another person. So on this video, I'm just going to be sharing the wisdom that I got from his book, along with some of my experiences. So let's go ahead and get into it, because I've already been talking for a minute. So this advice is going to be for my ladies that are repeatedly picking the wrong type of guys, getting into these situationships, yada, yada, yada. So dating can be hard for any and everyone, but it's important to use discernment, like I said, and also keep in mind that there isn't a downside to dating for guys. So you want to be aware of that when you are choosing a potential person to date. Sorry for my cat. You want to be aware of that for choosing a person to potentially date, because there's no downside to dating. So they can do and say anything that will get them what they want, but there's no downside to dating for men, except spending money. But if you got it, what's it really to them? And then also, there are going to be the type of women who rationalize his excuses just for the sake of being with him. So this advice is going to be for those types. This advice is for those type of ladies as well. Sorry, my cat is just in the mouth. So you never want to just rationalize his excuses to convince yourself or him to stay with you, because you are not going to be the exception to his case. So if he has commitment issues, you're not going to be the exception to the rule. You are not going to change this man. So we need to get it out of our heads that we can change men, because we cannot. Men can change on their own, and that's it. It's not up to us, okay? We are not fairy godmothers, okay? We're not doing that. So with that being said, never, ever, ever try harder to be the exception. Never try hard to accept him, because you are the prize, and we do not need to put in work to show our value. It's either seen or it's not. If it's not, then we gotta keep it pushing. Okay, so the first type of guy that you want to avoid dating when you are pursuing a potential romantic relationship is the passion junkie. This is gonna be the guy that loves to chase but hates commitment. He's addicted to that romantic novelty, so anything new and fresh is going to just be a breath of fresh air for him, because that's what he's addicted to, which is why he is the passion junkie. He loves seducing and he's skilled at it. So in other words, he's a player, and this is why we need to avoid this type of guy, because he's going to be very skillful at seducing other women. So it's not just you that he's seducing. It's not a connection. It's not the chemistry that you're experiencing, that spark or whatever you want to call it. He's skilled at doing this. He's versed in doing this. So be aware, ladies. And this type of guy, he's actually going to lose interest after he gets you attached. So unless you want to keep playing this game of tit and tat and hard to get and all of that, stay away from him, because he's never going to want to ever commit to you. He's just going to keep wanting that chase. And don't get me wrong, guys are supposed to chase you. But after the chase is where this passion junkie, this is where that passion junkie separates himself from the rest. He does not like commitment. He doesn't like what comes after. He doesn't like what comes after chasing. He just likes the chase, and that's it. Nothing after that. And yeah, the passion junkie, he's not interested in you. So don't be fooled by how much effort and attention he gives in the beginning, because it's all an illusion to get you lured in. So he's never interested in you. He's only interested in what you can do for him, and that's stroking his ego. That, it sucks to say, it sucks to hear, it sucks. So you never want to be surprised by what he does after you become attached. So if you do decide to, date a passion junkie, I hope you don't, but if you do, 9 times out of 10, it's going to end in a situationship. And if that's your forte, that's your sport, that's fine. Do you. But you've been warned. So after he does get what he wants from you, passion, desire, all of the above, once he does get that from you, don't be surprised when he goes. Like, do not insult yourself when he goes. Don't do it. The passion junkie, like I stated before, they are going to put in a lot of effort and a lot of attention in the beginning. This is love bombing. So you want to familiarize yourself with love bombing, what it is, what the signs are, all of that, before going head on into the dating space. And with the love bombing, he's just going to do a lot to make it seem like he's actually interested. And it's like, as women, we know, like secure women, we're like, why wouldn't you love us? Like, it makes sense for you to do all of this because I'm amazing. But no, you're not the special case with these type of guys. Like, not saying you're not special. I'm saying that these guys don't see it that way. They're going to do this with any and everyone just so they can get what they want, because they know the end result. Once they do this, they get what they want. And this is also the type of guy that can't be satisfied. He likes to stroke his ego with getting attention from so many different women. So he's never going to be satisfied because he likes that thrill. And like I said, you're gonna have to play hard to get for the rest, the longevity of the relationship that you guys have in order to keep him. And it's honestly just not worth it. The second type of guy that you want to avoid is the guy who places you on a pedestal. This is the type of guy that places you on a very high and small pedestal for you to stand on. And then he glamorizes you, he makes these fantasies about you, he really, really does like you. But on that small pedestal, it's that high and small pedestal, it's very hard for you to move around. So the moment that you do move around and you show a bit of your flaws or whatever, that something that doesn't fit into his reality, or his perception, something that doesn't fit into the perception that he has made of you, if that doesn't fit, then he is like, oh, this is not what I want. He's going to realize that you're not that perfect person, and nobody's perfect. But in his mind, when he places you on that pedestal, you are perfect, and there's no room for mistakes in his eyes. If you make a mistake, he detaches himself from you. He does not like you anymore. He's going to be disappointed because he's going to create this false perception of you that he created all on his own without your help. He's going to be very disappointed when he realizes you cannot meet those expectations that he has set forth before even getting to know you. So when he's dating you, he is going to be temporarily blinded by the perception that he created of you in his head. And when that, temporary blindness wears off, he's not gonna like you anymore. So you want to avoid this guy at all costs. I think all of these guys you need to avoid, but this one is special in the head. Like, oh, you thought that about me? Like, that's crazy. And beware, because friends can do that too. Friends can definitely do that too. I've had a few experiences like that. So yeah, this guy is going to be super infatuated with you. And again, he's going to think you're flawless. So when he does see something that doesn't fit into that perception that he made of you, or he sees one itty bitty little flaw, he's going to start pulling away. And he might even ghost you. A third guy you want to avoid dating is men with immature dating habits. So these are the guys that are not emotionally intelligent. They don't take time to understand your emotions. Yeah, these type of men do not take time to understand and appreciate your emotions, because they cannot do that for themselves. So why would they be able to do that for you? So since he is emotionally immature, he is not going to look to deepen the connection between the two of you. It could be a very surface level relationship or dating experience that you have, because he's not capable of deepening a connection because he's not emotionally mature. These guys tend to be young or young-minded, or both. And they tend to be really naive, like they're looking for the one. And not to say there isn't somebody out there for everyone, but they have a very detailed idea of what they want their person to be. They're looking for the one. They have very high standards, and I'm not saying somebody should deter away from their standards, but these are impossible standards that they're looking for within another woman, because they don't know exactly what a good connection looks like. And he's not going to be flexible with women. So these are those guys that tend to say, I'm him, because they are just like all about them. They are the prize. They might even ask you what you bring to the table. And these type of men's eyes, they are looking for a Disney princess, somebody who fits into a perfect mold, which is not a real woman. Like I said, his standards for women are impossibly high to meet, because he has no idea what a real woman looks like. He wants a Disney princess. These men are going to be a little bit harder to pick out from the bunch, because they're not going to say upfront what they're looking for. They're just going to basically go with the flow at first. So it's very, very important to ask questions. Ask lots of questions, because they are going to eventually reveal themselves. And I've actually had this type of dating experience. And once I was asking more and more questions, I was like, okay, this is not the type of person that I want. And this actually helped me, because I was like, oh yeah, this is the guy who has a Disney princess in his head. Of course he doesn't want me. I'm not a Disney princess. She doesn't exist. She's only in the movie. So like I said, you want to ask questions before you get attached. Ask them as early as possible. I tried to ask as many questions on the first date, just to make sure I'm not wasting my time, because my time is very valuable. And it may come off as awkward at first. And don't be worried about scaring him off, because he is actually looking for a partner and someone to spend, his life with. So he is going to have these standards set in place already. So it's important to ask questions. You're not going to scare him off by asking too many questions. Now, you want to be mindful and use discernment when you are asking your questions. Maybe practice them in the mirror or practice them with another person. And if you're still uncomfortable with asking him blunt questions up front, just get him comfortable first. Get him comfortable talking to you. Strike up conversation. Let him know that you are interested and you're not just asking these questions in like an interview form. Okay? And it's also good not to have these questions pre-written, but you want to know the answers to certain questions. So yeah, just don't treat it like an interview. Make sure he is comfortable first before you are asking questions that you need answers to. All right, so these are I feel like I said 5 types of men. Okay, if I did, I'm sorry. But these are the 3 types of men that you want to avoid when dating. Like I said, I've used these. I always keep these guys in mind when I got back on dating apps, because at first it just wasn't helpful to me. I mean, I wasn't successful in it, and I am coming in with a clearer head, and hopefully these tips and tricks will help you guys too. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or need me to explain anything further, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you.
It's not that I don't want you here.